In another dimension where magic is reality, the Dark Lord Satan wages a campaign with his 4 generals, Adramelech, Lucifer, Alciel, and Malakota, to conquer the continent of Entesla and annex the human population under his realm of darkness. However, a brave hero appears and leads the human armies against the dark forces, pushing them back to their stronghold. Here, Satan faces off against a hero, but with neither able to decisively defeat the other and his armies crumbling, the Dark Lord retreats and, along with Alciel, opens a dimensional portal and leaves his world, vowing to return and conquer Entesla one day. The portal exits in modern-day Sasuzuka, Japan, and, in addition to being shocked by their new human forms, Satan and Alciel are taken to the nearest police station, where Satan learns a bit about this new world, which lacks magic. As events progress, Satan and Alciel get new identities, Sadao Mam and Shiro Ishiya respectively, secure a residence, open a bank account, and go job hunting in order to survive, while agreeing that Sadao would work while Shiro takes care of their domestic needs. Some time later, on his way to his part-time job at the McDonald franchise, Sadao encounters a beautiful scarlet-haired girl at a crosswalk and offers her his umbrella to shield from the rain. While at McDonald, Sadao not only experiences a seemingly random mild earthquake, but faces a dilemma on whether to use his remaining magic to repair the broken fryers, eventually not getting the chance to. Nonetheless, while impressing his fellow co-worker Chiho Sasaki with his people skills as well as the higher-ups through his dedication, Sadao is able to secure a permanent position. As he excitedly pedals his bicycle home to tell Sherm, he is once again confronted by the scarlet-haired girl who is revealed to be the hero from their dimension, Emilia Justina. In the wake of Satan and Alciel's departure from Entesla, Emilia and her comrades give chase. Back in present-day Japan, Sadao tries to reason with Emilia, now under the identity Emi-Yusa, although she ignores and tries to attack him. Afterwards, they are both arrested and brought to a police station for questioning, where the officer in charge mistakes them for having a couple's quarrel, much to Emi's protest. On their way home, Emi threatens Sadao, although he just shrugs. The following day, while feeling angry that she isn't living a better lifestyle than Sadao, Emi pays them a visit. Sherm, in shock, locks her out, but lets her in after Sadao casually explains her circumstances. After commenting on Sadao's lifestyle, she explains that she, along with Olba, were going to follow them through the portal before it disappeared, but she ended up being the only one transported. Over the next few days, Emi begins stalking Sadao and Shiro around town and learns that they are living good, humble lives. This prompts her to ask him after work if he had considered staying in the human world, to which he boldly states that he will return to conquer Entesla. Just then, they both come under a magical attack from a sniper and hurriedly escape. Sadao realizes they may have a common enemy and blames Emi before leaving for the night. Emi, however, shows up again at his apartment much to his suspicion and awkwardly asks if she could stay the night since she lives a distance away and lost her wallet while they were escaping. Sadao casually gives her sanctuary again to Sherm's shock, while Emi tearfully ponders to herself how she got herself into that situation. That night, Sadao receives a mysterious text from Chiho, warning that more earthquakes are on the way while asking for his advice. The following morning, the national news broadcasts a report mentioning the attack that Emi and Sadao were involved in, while Chiho excitedly prepares for her date with Sadao. Meanwhile, Emi receives an anonymous call at work from the same enemy who shot at them, who explains that killing both her and Satan would be in Entesla's best interests. Later, the police track down Sadao from his bicycle left at the scene, and Emi is forced to vouch for his identity, while afterwards warning him about their common enemy. Later, Sadao meets Chiho for their date, which, unbeknownst to them, are followed by a cautious Shiro and a suspicious Emi, the latter of whom drags Shiro into the cafe to eavesdrop on Sadao. During the date, Chiho explains to Sadao that she had been hearing a strange language recently, the language of Entile unknown to her. She further explains that the speakers were trying to contact someone and made references to a large earthquake soon to occur. Sadao realizes that the phenomena was a magical communication system called Ideal Link, and that the earthquakes were most likely caused by a sonar spell trying to detect him and Emi. At this time a shocked Sadao notices Emi walk into the cafe, and before Chiho can confess to him, she is interrupted by Emi. Chiho misunderstands Emi's reasoning for her interruption, and they get into a loud argument just as a large earthquake suddenly strikes. When Chiho briefly awakens, surrounded by devastation, she reconciles with Emi, who again warns her about Sadao before knocking her out with a sleep spell. Emi then calls out to Satan, who appears from some debris in his demonic form. Emi ponders killing him right there with her remaining magic, but Satan shocks her by stating he will get them out of the collapsed mall, leaving Emi to wonder why he would help them. Satan continues to use his magic to clear the debris while keeping everyone in the mall out of harm's way. While outside the destroyed mall, Emi has a flashback showing her carefree days with her father on Entesla when she was younger, until she was summoned by the church to begin training with a magical sword to slay demons. Soon after, her father was killed by Satan's forces when their village was attacked, leaving her with resolve to kill him. Back in the present, Sadao learns and informs Emi that Chiho received magical feedback from the spell he cast on her father, Inspector Sasaki, when he first arrived in Japan. Sadao further explains to her that the earthquake was a deliberate attack on their lives before they both leave. Afterwards, Emi spends the night at her co-worker, Rika Suzuki's place, where Rika explains to her how human nature can change in the face of adversity by referencing the Kobe earthquake she experienced as a child. The next day, Emi visits Sadao and falls down his apartment building's stairs. Sadao tries to treat Emi's injuries, but his uncharacteristic kindness upsets her, and she reveals her reason for wanting him dead. Sadao laments his inability to understand people's feelings until they are interrupted by Shiro and Chiho. Chiho misunderstands Emi and Sadao being a couple and runs away with a broken heart. Just then, Sadao's landlady, Miki Shiba, comes in and advises they chase after Chiho while referencing her connection to the sonar and ideal link spells. While tearfully making her way through the street, Chiho encounters a strange person who manifests black wings in front of the passers-by. As Sadao, Emi and Shiro approach from afar, an explosion occurs and the winged person takes to the air. As Sadao and co. climb the rubble, Sadao acknowledges the person as his demon general, Lucifer. Emi asks Lucifer how he survived their previous battle on Entesla, but Sadao deduces that he was aided by her former comrade Olba Mai, who had promised to return Lucifer to heaven in exchange for his help, while Olba reveals himself to Emi's shock. Lucifer proceeds to attack Sadao and co. with Shiro taking a hit. As the group flee, Sadao explains to Emi that Lucifer draws his magic from negative emotions and hence was responsible for the string of muggings in Sasuzuka. As they get cornered, Sadao teleports himself and Emi to the crowded Sasuzuka station. Here, the dumbstruck crowd looks on as Lucifer seemingly kills Sadao with a magical bullet and then destroys the overhead transport bridge. The debris head to crush Emi and Chiho, but Satan emerges in his demonic form and, using the negative emotions of the onlookers to fuel his magic, saves Emi and Chiho. After, Satan sets up a magical barrier, knocking all of the civilians unconscious, while Emilia calls forth her magic and engages Lucifer in aerial combat. Alciel then shows up, healed, in his demonic form and joins the battle. Chiho looks on at the incredible scene, at which point Satan finishes Olba and then Lucifer with a multi-layered magical punch. Subscribe if you want to become a hero. See you in another groundbreaking anime.